There we go. Alaafia, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I am your host, Orisa Gbemi, and today we are joined by none other than our distinguished community elder, the one, the only, the iconic, the legendary Oloye Baba Ifa Karade. Boy, Shishe Baba, what's good? How you doing? Baba in that deep meditation. Let me see. Is he in meditation or did the camera freeze? Alaafia. Peace and blessings, family. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. I think we got a little minor technical difficulty with Baba's feed, y'all, but we're gonna get this thing together and make it do what it do because of those of our tribe that be on the lives with us consistently. Y'all know how it goes sometimes with the technology and with the the internet and all these other things that be happening, inconspicuous things that be happening with the technology. Alaafia, family. I see y'all coming in. I appreciate y'all. We're trying to see what's going on with Baba's feed. I know something happened just now because he was just with me before we actually aired to go live, but something went down. So let me just double check and see what's going on with his feed. Y'all bear with me for one moment, please, family. Okay, we got him back, y'all. Like I said, y'all, the family that's been rocking with us, y'all know how to get down. You there, Baba?
Yeah, I'm here. This tech thing, man. Gee,
Let's, let's,
that's all right. Let's keep rolling, man. Let's.
yeah. I was telling the family that I'm like, for those who like, we got several of the family members already on with us. That's regulars, so they already know what it is what we be dealing with. So I
Right.
appreciate y'all. I appreciate the love and support. And yeah, thank y'all for rocking with us and vibing with us through these technical difficulties because I feel like everybody who watches the channel, especially the consistent people who's here with us on a weekly basis, y'all know what it is. So we just keep plugging along, plugging through, and fighting through the technical difficulties to make it do what it do. So with that, Baba, I had just finished introducing you formally, and then the feed went and did what the feed was doing. The feed was out here feeding, but so yeah, man. So boy, Shishay, how you doing today, Baba?
Okay. Ashere, warrior phone. Alaafia. He is here. Alaafia here. Okay. All right. Sure. Yes. I'm well. Okay. All prayers, all blessings. To everyone. And with the sincerity, of Ifa, Sheshe. I'm blessed to be here, and I'm blessed that you're blessed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I say.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
yes,
And
sir.
how are you, my brother? Orisha Gbemi Baba, how are you now?
I'm here, Baba. I'm ready to turn this thing up, man. I'm doing look, I'm feeling great, feeling phenomenal. Phenomenal weekend. I had to sit my butt down over the weekend because I had a lot going on, man. I was dragging on East. I had to recharge the batteries and get ready for this week to come in here and make it do what it do, man. You know how we do.
All right.
Yes, sir. Alaafia, I need everybody who's tuning in, who's joined already with us. And Kosi, shout out to you, brother. Definitely got something special brewing up for you this week for sure. And for all those who joined the private community, we definitely got some real good gumbo cooking in the pots for y'all for sure. Like real good. So
Right.
yeah. With that, bye-bye.
Okay.
Hey, like I wanted this,
Well, I mean, since we're gonna start off, I want to be among the first to extend your Ojo Ibi, and we say Eku Odunde. All right, for your Orisha
Yeah, man.
Sunday, man. Come on and share a little something about it. Don't be, all like this and that. Come on, bring it.
Man, it's amazing. It's truly amazing. I appreciate it, Baba. I really do. It's amazing. 3 years ago, which time flies. I was in the room sitting there as a little baby Ifa. I had literally just crossed over. And it was amazing. I couldn't really put it into any other word, to kind of just try to describe it, describe it like in a short, short form of fashion. But it was amazing, and it was a lot. It was a lot of energy transformation. It was a lot of energy, a lot of powerful energy. And I just remember and recall, the whole process leading up to it. And I remember studying. I remember, just doing what I could do to try to prepare myself to be the best prepared as I possibly could, for this major life transformation that, most people who go through it know, like it's definitely a rebirth for sure, and for me, I definitely felt like that's exactly what it was. And from the moment I kind of came out of that spiritual embryonic womb, I felt, the increase and the impact and the elevation and the crystallization and the manifestation of being one in a unified front with, with the God. And it was something that's indescribable. I think, like, I know for a fact you probably will have your own experiences and your own way of breaking it down, how it felt for you. But that was the best that I think for now, just for the sake of being brief and get into the topic of today's conversation. That's what I got from it. But I'm gonna tell you, and this is not no plug, like, no fluff or nothing. But in all honesty, this book right here, actually it was both of these. It was a handbook which prepared me through the whole process of my studies. But Ojise really came on time. Like it was like at the time I didn't even know you had that book or your other books besides the handbook, and I believe it came up in conversation on one of our former podcasts back in the day. And I recall, like, when you told me what it was about, I'm like, yo, I ordered it the same day and I read it, and I had just enough time to read it and complete the whole book before I went into the room. And it was like, it was the icing on the cake. I couldn't have been more comfortable with my preparation before going into the room prior to, reading that book. But once I read that book, it took it to another level, because it was like you shared your entire process. You documented it all the way through almost the entire Obatala, initiation, but then you went as far as you could go with the initiation into Ifa. And so just seeing another person's experience with it, especially having a very similar experience as yours, being there on the continent and really being able to ground myself with, the mother, the mother earth, it was very profound. It was powerful. So, I give thanks to you and Wadukwe, to you and all the work you do. Shout out to all the elders who's come through over the last week that sent the channel through the roof. We appreciate you. Baba, you've been holding it down like an anchor, locking it down, holding it down with the crown since we started. And, and every other elder that's been here, shout out to every single one of them. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. And we definitely look forward to doing what we can do to reverence and honor, and take what you guys have so eloquently given us and do something with it to put into action. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people say knowledge is power. Your knowledge is perceived power, but it's actually the activation and the manifestation and the utilization of knowledge that really turns it into power. So that's what we strive to do here with the Ashe, the African Spiritual Experience, and we definitely, look forward to building with elders such as yourself, Baba.
Ashe. All right.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
and as an elder, Baba Rupo, Baba Awo, it brings me the greatest of joy, to see generations, who have been embraced by Ifa Iseshe and who have embraced Ifa Iseshe and who have taken it upon themselves to not only get initiated, but to, as we say, amass information, to intensify that prior knowledge base by study, by shifting the perspective paradigm so we see the world differently, because we're seeing ourselves differently. We're seeing ourselves more as the ancestral and not as the conditional or the bioengineered, the psycho-engineered, to literally be the back upon which others stand. and those others being enslavers, traffickers, okay, individuals who have built this country on the backs of our ancestors more immediate. And now that we have the opportunity to hear our ancestors beyond the immediate trauma, post-traumatic slavery trauma, okay, we are emerging. And as they say in Sankofa, one by one, if need be, one by one, we will amass what we must have: knowledge of true self, knowledge of true history, knowledge of true philosophy, knowledge of true identity. And let that resurfacing reignite us, re-civilize us, reinvent us to the essence of epitome of the human construct. And that's what all of the Ojo Ibis, bring to my heart. Now, I have 40 years in, 7 years of preparation, and 33 years since 1991 making priesthood. So whenever someone celebrates their one time around the sun, one more time around the sun, one more time around the sun, I'm seeing you and all of us 7 generations ahead, one generation at a time. So I give thanks, not only to those who initiated me, but to those who've initiated every last one of you, to include, all the listeners, all the Ifa Iseshe people. We have to gather. We have to gather on sacred ground and rebuild the who we are and the who we will be based on who we were. Okay. Sure, there'll be technological changes. And of course, they're going to be geographical changes. They're going to be all kinds of changes. But those changes are, like planets around the sun, if you will. But we are the sun. That all that revolves around us. It doesn't change who we are. It doesn't change the power of who we are. It doesn't change the essence of who we are, because we are eternal. Okay, we are literally. So again, I do pray. Okay, all of us give thanks for all of us. All right. Now, when it boils down to Ojise, and I humbly thank you for presenting that book, and I'm more than thankful that it was a catalyst for your development, okay, for your journey, your iwakiri, your spiritual journey into Isheshe, into Ifa. Okay. And the part of me that was moving my hand and shifting my mind so that I could see was like part of the purpose of writing it. Wasn't just to share my experience per se, but for it to become a part of everyone's experience. And I think one of the times that was my first elation was when I got in contact with a brother who had contacted me, and we were having a discussion, and he said, we're using the handbook as part of our initiations. And I was like, what? Now, mind you, I know that it was selling okay, and that, a little name was coming up. Oh, who's this Baba Ifa Karade? And, I'm struggling with people struggling with the book, and, people kind of losing it. One group of people, but another group of people, smaller and a little less powerful, quote unquote, on the Orisa scene, were saying, oh, we have something here. This is going to help fortify us. This is going to give us some understanding. This is going to be beyond the, oh, you got to do this, and if you don't do that, so we got something that's going to, again, shift the perspective paradigm. We're going to start looking at this differently. And I just couldn't. It wasn't ego. It wasn't, oh yeah, I got it. No, it was like, Ifa, this is what we need. This is what we need. Very few books were in English. Very few books were coming from the quote unquote African American segment of the diaspora. Very few folks looking like me, looking like us, were grasping the insideness of it all, the intrinsic, the esoteric. It was all still a little too plantation-y for me. So I'm like, well, Rumila, if you want me to be the change, then the change I will be.
Plantation.
I'm trying to cool it down a bit.
Nah, I get it. I get it.
A little rough lately, but
listen, I'm here for it, man. That was funny. I'm up there.
Yeah, man. So I'm giving thanks, and between the handbook and Ojise, as the first steps into my understanding of Ifa, because it took a while to write those books. It wasn't like I just woke up one morning,
Right.
and boil it down and to make it so it is comprehensible, and it has been, on the forefront since 1994.
Sure.
The handbook was published in 1994. One of the first books about Orisa Isese that from us.
Right.
That really made an impact. And I'm like, if so many people were so moved by it, then and the Babalaos were praising Orumila, and Orumila was praising Olodumare.
Sure.
Okay. So I share your Ojo Ibi, and the whole, Eku Odun, I share it with you, and I'm extending it, if I may, to all of our listeners, to all of us, because we are us.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Yeah. So that's what I have to say about that thus far, my brother.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate it, Baba. Like I said, as always, it's an honor and a pleasure to serve, man. It really is. So now, for those that are listening, our listeners who are out there who stream live with us, appreciate y'all once again, family. I really do. All the love, support, feedback, like it's worth its weight in gold. It truly is. But I had to really emphasize that y'all help push us through. Push us over the 1K mark this weekend. It's been phenomenal. So, bye. Ojise. Yes. For those who don't know what the word Ojise means, or what it's about, can you kind of break down some of the significance of what an Ojise is and how one may become an Ojise?
Well, again, it stems from back in 1991, Ejibo, then back in 92, okay, for the next step in terms of, okay, we're going to check on this again. My elders, my mentors, Ibaye, Iyanlakeye, Araba, okay, and on the whole compound, they were like, you need to come back, because there's something about you, young man. They in their 80s and their hundreds. I was in my mid 30s at the time, so I was a young man. I was like, and I had done a lot of studying, but that didn't mean I knew.
Yeah. They saw all that wisdom and all that fiery ashe.
Yeah, so having having knowledge is a baby step towards Ogbon, towards having wisdom. Okay. And I came across a nice piece. I'm reading Ta-Nehisi Coates, um, The Water Dancer.
Mm. Mm.
It's a powerful piece.
Wow.
You know, much respect for him. But at one point, the major character states that he was gifted, and he's a young boy at this point, but he's very, cognitively acute. You know what I mean? He remembers stuff. He can pick up anything. About 11 years old, and and while he was reflecting on himself, he stated, I was gifted more so with memory than with wisdom. Because he was going through this whole thing about remembering his mother who was sold, you know what I mean, and trying to remember bits and pieces of everything at his young life, his young age, very, perceptive. But that phrase caught me, because see, we can gain so much knowledge, and we can memorize, and we're basically rewarded for memorizing. And I have to work with my pre-college students in terms of, we got to break out of the memorization. We're going to test you on how well you memorize. No, up in here we learn, and there's a difference between memorizing and learning. So I started to kind of delve into that, and have been delving into that and getting the greatest of responses, because see, any student will tell you, well, I just learned it for the test, or I just learned it. And sometimes I kind of see this happening with Ifa and Iseshe, and we're kind of celebrated. Well, how many verses can you recite? Or, what can you memorize? As if that somehow equates to having wisdom and experience enough to know when to say and when not to say the greatest of things, the timing, okay, and the essence and building of existence. Now, don't get me wrong, memorizing a part of the oral tradition worldwide, okay? There has been changes going back a couple of 100 years. So, we start to be able to read between the lines and to take what we need in order to develop ourselves in this particular situation. All right. So out of that, okay, came Ojise, messenger. And it's like, if the messenger doesn't get it right, then civilizations will fall. Armies will go to war. Okay. People will die. Back to our statement from the last podcast, when we had Ogunda Otura, and was like, and one of the commentators was like, yeah, that part about the canoe capsizing, that's something we got to live by, a certain truth. So I had taken note, a journal, a journalize my experience, and then took out what I needed to take out and kept what needed to be, what I felt to be pertinent. Okay? And then it dawned on me, because remember, I was at the feet of Orumila. I was there in Tase. I was at the place where it was said that he passed on, he transitioned. And it dawned on me, and again, I have to say, not in an ego sense, I have to say it because I know how folks interpret things and misconstrue things. But I have to say that once you go through certain experiences, it's supposed to do something to you.
That's facts.
It's supposed to do something to you. And this whole cookie cutter thing that most of us have had to suffer through, everybody got to act like this. Everybody got to do this. Everybody got to be this way. And you got to show this way. And if you don't do it, then you're going to be ostracized. And the rich are going to you know, tear you apart and all that kind of stuff. It's like, hold on, wait a minute. Okay. It's not child's play. We're all unique individuals. Nature has various infinite, okay, expressions, and every expression needs to find its place, right? Needs to find its niche and say, this is where I be. Okay. So I'm like, okay, well, all of my divinations through initiations, initiatories, all the rituals and ebos that were done for me by elders, 180 years old, 100 years old, 80 years old, and all of that. They weren't trying to get me to memorize anything. They were trying to get me to understand who I am. And what my place is in this whole cosmology, this cosmic reality, not some fanciful, you know, other heaven and, you know, Romula's Jesus kind of thing. I'm like, what? No, no, no. I'm not going to make that correlation. I just refuse. Whatever's in me was refusing to do that. So then it came to me that Orumila wants you to be a messenger, you know, and he's not, you know, asking nicely. He's like, you can get your butt up and get to work. And yeah, people gonna, you know, turn against you, and yeah, people gonna try to throw you down and talk bad about you and cast you low. But then, and they did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But Yami Oshun was like,
yeah,
better watch yourself. Yeah. Obatala said, keep poking the bear, okay?
Yeah. Hey, look. Hey, the buck stopped. The buck stopped with the mothers. Period. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
sometimes I have to say, "Whoa, wait a minute."
Yeah, buddy. Don't like we said before. Don't get Big Mama mad, boy. Cause look, hey.
So it's been good, you know what I mean. But I realized that if anybody was going to do something, you know, it wasn't about me looking for somebody else to do it. You understand what I'm saying? You know, oh, what's somebody else going to do? Or, you know, this person didn't do that, and that person didn't get this, and, you know, they didn't have the right number of stones in their pots and all that kind of child's play. I'm like, yo, I got work to do. And again, that one stone I have in my Obatala is far more potent in respect to the frequency and the experience that I have with it than the 8 or 16 or whatever that somebody else is telling me that I should have, other than my elders, other than my ancestral reflections. They're like, take this Obatala and spread Isheshe across the world.
Well, you did that, Baba. You did that. And real quick, too, can I respectfully interrupt just for a brief moment and share just a little message from Spirit?
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you, Baba. It won't be long. No. But this is a piece, you know, being someone who was a student of the arts, you know, I've been prone to write a spoken word piece or 2 or 3 or 4 here and there. But I don't know if the listeners know how poetic you are, as well as being someone who's gifted with literature, the ability to create phenomenal literature. But real quick, there's a passage or a book, I should say, a piece of spoken word and piece in the book of Ojise called Pilgrimage. I love this piece, so I wanted to share this real quick with the family. So the pilgrimage, arise. O ancients of Africa, arise. Let the light of the ages bring forth the renewal of a darkened people. O ancient souls of Africa, let the warmth of your touch turn the hardened spirits into everlasting life. Children of Africa, rebirth, open up thine eyes. Bring forth from within the consciousness of being, so that we not forget who we are. Arise, O ye warriors, queens, priests, and kings. Lay down your offerings and dance to the rhythm of the drum song.
Wow.
Okay. Yes, sir. Well, one more quick one too.
Right.
The ancestors dance the dance of life. The ancestors dance to raise us from the dead. In full glory, we see them, but not with our eyes. They dance in our spirit world. Modupwe to the all powerful mighty golden
spirit world.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. So that was deep, Baba. I like what you did when you went in there and what you did with that, man. What you did with it. I like what you did with it, Baba.
Yeah, and that brings us to another tier, if I will. You know, we get all involved in Orisa and this and that and the other thing, and we forget, you know, that our ancestors were poets and scribes, and you know, it wasn't just, oh, you go get a reading and do that, Bo. You know what I mean? Or you know, we just gonna dance around the fire all night long, you know. But it's like, okay, that's cool, but that's only a fraction.
Right.
You know, that's only a fraction. We refuse to see. And again, not by our closing our eyes,
Mm-hmm.
okay, but there's the absence of our philosophical prowess. And even for those of us who divine, okay, and I've been to a number of diviners before I became one myself, so I kind of know what I'm talking about, and I kind of know the stages that I had to go through to, you know, embrace what was, again, pertinent, not spectacular, you know what I mean, and not impressive, you know what I mean, but what was pertinent. How can we boil this down to what really needs to be done and develop the strategy to achieve the goal? Okay, and if we're talking about uplifting our people, I've started to wonder if being in this kind of environment of the syncretism was really helping me. And as I expanded that, others. Now, trust me, that's no slight. There's a whole lot of corners in the infinite universe.
Right.
But I wasn't seeing a corner for us. I wasn't seeing a messenger for us. All I was seeing when it came down to us was the continual downplay. You know?
Oh, yeah.
And I took that seriously, because when Orumila stated that you are Ojise meaning messenger, your message has to be one of liberation.
Ashe.
It has to be.
Ashe.
And when I look at myself in the reflective mirror of my existence, and I don't see myself as that, then why am I a Babalao? Why am I into this? Just to walk, oh, I'm a Babalao. Everybody, you know, lay down on the floor when I walk through. Come on, get off of that.
Right.
Let's see what we can do to uplift our community. We, again, are at the bottom of the barrel. And we need Orumila to bring us up. We need to focus on the Orisa to bring us up. You know, this is what our ancestors had when they were building the Edo, you know, the empires, the Benin Wall. You think they were Christians? They know nothing about Christianity. As a matter of fact, it was the Christians who came and blew everything apart. You understand? And then try to paint the picture like they, you know, came in so saving the savage kind of thing. Man, get out of here with that. You know, we have to dismantle that. We have to, because it's not true. You know what I mean? It's propaganda. It literally is propaganda. So here we are. Here we are, you know, as initiates, or those aspiring to be initiates, and looking for a place to be. Okay? And that's why, since you got me all worked up, man, it's all you.
Listen. I was laughing about that the other day. I was like, boy, Baba be getting me worked up into a titty sometimes on purpose. Boy, I'll tell him something before we go on the air and tell him how it had me riled up. And I'll be like, yeah, want to talk about it today, Baba. I got to calm down. I got to
Yeah. Let me take a couple of deep breaths.
Go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah, we're gonna roll with that. Okay, getting ready to go in. Okay,
man. Yes, sir.
Back to the plantation mentality, brother. Because it's like, and dear listeners, I always humbly ask for your understanding, but I earn my stripes. Okay, so I need to say what I need to say. I'm just the drum. It's the ancestors in the Risha or Rumi that's got the whole bata thing happening. You know what I mean?
Like get dangerous up in this thing, boy.
But
feeling dangerous up here, boy.
It's like, going to some of these places, and literally, I just had this conversation with the Abarisha today, literally, okay, and throughout the course of the week. So, this whole thing about being condescended upon, this whole thing, and I know a little Spanish, so they, start rolling this and rolling that. And one time they started calling me boy, and I'm like, yo, wait a minute. Okay. I'm grown. I got children. I work every day. I will not stand here and allow you to address others talking about me and calling me a boy. I remember that period of time. Muchacho this, muchacho that. No, hombre, okay? Get it right. Okay? Because see, you're not going to reduce me under the guise of giving me something that's supposed to save me or make me more what? More potent in whose world?
Right. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
I don't see how the connection is to the world that I live in.
Right.
In the heart of Newark, New Jersey.
Right. It's about control, man. Certain times people want to control people.
But see, and we so stuck on 1619, we forget that it was the Portuguese and Spanish who were bringing us over here. We didn't start being enslaved in this country by the English in 1619. Okay. The Spanish and Portuguese have been doing it for hundreds of years before that, from the mid 1440s and 1492 and all that kind of thing, and Vasco da Gama sailing around, trying to find India later on and coming across and then sending us to Europe in chains, sex trafficking our young girls. I'm not trying to be cool with that. I'm not trying to be, oh, well, that's okay. You know what I mean? Well, 1619, and the Juneteenth and all that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to hear it. I'm not trying to pacify them, because imagine if that was your daughter they was dragging off. Okay. Or that was your grandfather who they killed because he was too old, to make the journey and work on the plantations. So I'm not forgetting about the Portuguese and the Spanish. Okay? And I can't forget about them, because a lot of my students, being that it's an urban environment, and they still hold that. That brown skinned people are basically servants. And I got to get them straight. You need to take that somewhere else.
Yeah, buddy, you ain't do nothing. I know you're gonna tighten somebody up, buddy. I know.
I have to, because I have something to bring.
Facts.
I have something to bring. And if you're blocking that because you're looking at me as a servant, as a boy, as a child, and you know how I feel about this whole godchildren thing, I never, ever, since I established Ileta Wolona in 1992, called any attendee, congregant, any person, never. And if you call me Godfather, you faced a wrath. I'm not trying to be that. We're all adults up in here. The more you keep calling somebody something, the more they become that. And that whole dependency factor, why do I need for you to be dependent when the whole process, as far as embracing your ancestral strength and reality, is to make you independent?
Facts.
Even if it means being independent from me. I, as a diviner, am seeking to make you divine.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And everything about Ifa says that. I've studied the Odu since 1986, and I've never seen in any Odu where someone was called a child, a godchild. So-and-so came for divination. D5 Fun for the farmer Ajigumwa, who came for divination because his wife couldn't conceive. It was never, oh, my godchild came and I did a reading for them. You know, fish couldn't protect her children, so she came. It was never child. You understand? Because ancestrally speaking, we weren't looking for that. We weren't looking to diminish those who became involved with Isheshe and Ifa. We were looking to make them divine and empowered. And to live by the choices that they make as matured and adult beings. Okay. And that was it. We've been over gentrified and we've come to, I'm going to take a deep breath and I'm going to put this out there and then I'm going to sit back.
People. Oh, boy.
And then I got part 2 from Ojise. Here we go, right? I saw something today, maybe yesterday, that really struck me, you know, and this is a reflection of the podcast, the 2 podcasts prior to this, because, you know, I try to build on the podcasts that we make. You know, I'm a writer. That's what I do. Okay. I saw this post where this Oyembo, dressed like Jesus Christ, had some kind of motorized, you know, like little scooter or whatever. It was round and it had a cloud around it, and he was scooting around and giving bread to the homeless people. And so the post was like, you know, Jesus comes and he's you know, feeding the hungry kind of thing. And I'm like, yo, yo, this is some madness right here, you know. But according to our realization in this society and the way we were brought up in this, you know, world of indoctrination, seeing this image, be you child, tween, teen, young adult, or adult, triggers that reinforcement of what a prophet figure looks like, what a prophet figure does. Therefore, the connection, the bridge between the child inside, the self, okay, is strengthened. And I shared with us last podcast, we know what Buddha looks like, supposedly. We know what Christ looks like, supposedly. We know what Muhammad looks like, supposedly. What did Arumila look like? When's the last time we saw anything about him? When? Okay, never. All right. And then I had to struggle since the 80s about, you know, whitewashing the Orisha. It just didn't start recently. It's been going on since syncretism. I saw a piece on Shango. And at first, they showed like the stages of Shango development. At first, Shango was very African looking. You know what I mean? King, Nigerian, da 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 da. And through time, as this timeline went on, his complexion got lighter and lighter and lighter until, and this was just last week.
Yeah. Well, listen, Baba, Hannibal Barker, the like phenomenal historical general, one of the most powerful, prolific generals ever on the planet. If you look at some of the damn statues and stuff that they got,
oh man, and mad because Denzel going to take the role.
Man, listen. But my thing is, I've seen where they like got whole statues and like mausoleum type, museum type things dedicated to this brother. This is a brother.
Yes,
that
sir.
they have over time tried to, whitewash, like depigmentize and whitewash. And people, I see and hear people joking, but I believe it to be a real thing, because if you think about it, if we didn't get a grip and take a strong hold on educating our own, like 5-10 decades from now, you're gonna think Pop was white, or you might think Malcolm was, or you might think, you know what I'm saying? Like, who knows? They might Honorable Marcus Mosiah. I mean, I don't know who might turn out to be another damn color, but as far as I know, from what the deepest studies that I've done, I believe Jesus is even black. I believe Jesus was a melanated brother, the way he's described. It was a biblical description.
Yes.
Peter Browns and hair of wool.
Right. Come on now.
That's like a brother to me. I'm just saying,
and let's add to the fact the geography. How was everybody else looking around there? Oh, you know what I mean? And so this becomes, to me, okay, and I can only speak through me, if I can phrase that right. You know what I mean? That, for all the people talking about, oh, it doesn't make a difference. Well, you already whooped, okay? Right. Because obviously it does make a difference, or it wouldn't be the way it is.
Yeah.
It makes a difference. Now, my research and my intuition, inclination of resolve, Orumila was very deep skinned, as were everybody else around there. Okay. He was basically small in stature. I shared that on a podcast or two ago of Bonnie Ragoon. Okay. And seemingly, his head was a little bit larger, and when we get old, that kind of happens. And even some young boys, we call them rockhead. You know what I mean? They got a big old head and a little body.
A little man with a big head.
Yeah, come on, little man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to add, he was also known as the man without bones. And I found that very interesting. Because if you were without bones, my question is, what were your physical practices? Because you were flexible. You understand? You could touch your toes. You can get into quote unquote yogic positions. The way that you flowed wasn't, stiff. You see? So all of these descriptions that I've been able to pull from here and there, okay, are very indicative of a very deep earth tone individual who was a little smaller in stature than most, who had, a head full of knowledge, brainiac kind of individual.
Yeah.
And who was very fluid in his movements. So I'm saying, okay, Mr. Ojise, okay, Baba, Oba, just like you came up with those books, why can't you, like artists came up with images of God, the Sistine Chapel and all that kind of stuff, then what's stopping us? What's stopping us? And if I wanted to walk out like this and say, I am the image of Orumila, and I used to have stickers back in the day at the temple, and we put them on our bumpers. Orumila is the prophet. Oh, did we get a couple of stares every now and then from the Oyimbos and the Christian folks? Because to them, everybody else can be even called a prophet, but of course their prophet is the prophet. But I'm like, there's been a whole lot of prophets, and why can't Orumila sit at the table? But that's okay. We don't need to sit at your table because we know how to build. We build our own damn table. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to fit in. Okay, I'm really not, because trying to fit in is a diminishing. It's a negotiation. It's like
minimizing your beingness.
Exactly.
Got
You
that.
know, like we would go to these conferences on diversity training, and I used to give them they like,
I already know they hate to see you coming. I already know.
Like, well, one of my things is, and then I'm gonna back up a little bit, is that how is this diversity training? And every time I come here, there's a white man sitting at the head of the table. I just please somebody explain it. Because see, if it was the diversity training, it wouldn't be according to you. It would be according to all of the diverse people that are here.
The collective, yes, sir.
But you have to okay it, and it has to fit into your mold. I don't consider that diversity training. I don't consider Orumila being analogous to Jesus Christ. I don't consider it. I have no consideration for it. And when I was first told that, when I was in Brazil, it was only an echoing of what all of the Spanish houses were saying, and sometimes inconspicuously trying to get across that your Ifa Orisha doesn't really have a prophet. Orumila is not a prophet figure. Some houses even said he was an Orisha. Some houses didn't even deal with him at all. Go see a Babalao. And of course, the Spanish Babalaos, they weren't talking about prophets, because in their minds, heaven is white, Jesus is white, the God, the Father, the Holy Son, all that kind of stuff. They ain't got nothing to do with you African descendants. And I'm open to any conversation about it. Now, I'm only saying that these were my experiences and the experience of countless others who have shared their experiences with me. I can't speak for everybody, but I have a funny feeling that I am speaking for a large number of people, So we have to bring Orumila to the table that we're building. We have to bring the complexion of us, the earth tone people, back to the table that we're building, and break away from being God children, and being upstanding adults, constructing an adult world. That's my take on it. I'm willing to hear from the people, okay? Because I can only share.
Nah, yeah, that's real talk though, Baba. Let me ask you this: in regards to your entire journey, and I know it was a magical one. It was a phenomenal journey that you had in the process of becoming Ojise. Like I said, being someone who has been a student of your work for a little minute now, well, I say a decent amount of time. What would you consider to be your most significant, I would say, either tool or experience that you acquired while you were in Nigeria during your initiation into Obatala and Ifa?
I'll tell you in a second. I wrote a piece called The Initiate. Okay. And it kind of dealt with exactly the question that you asked.
Hmm.
You know, and I have to say that the most insightful, um, transformative, if you will, experience that I had that just really turned me right side up
Mm-hmm.
was the sincerity of people in the compound. It reflected what I had experienced when I was in Kenya, living amongst the Fundishi, as we were working on schools and hospitals and all, makeshift, but better than what was there, you know. And that was the one thing, you know what I mean? It wasn't their titles, their position. And a matter of fact, even when I was in Bahia, Sao Paulo, the people came around, let's take you to the cathedrals, I don't want to go to no cathedral, man. I ain't come all the way down here to be, it's sitting up on the, Catholicism. And I know, oh, well, this is where the power is, and all of when you get initiated into Candomblé, you have to go through, the various cathedrals. I'm like, I'm not here to get initiated into Candomblé. And
Yeah.
even if I opt not to go, then I ain't going. Okay, take me to the woods, take me to the freaking Amazon River,
Yeah.
take me to. I was sharing with the Aberisa today, you're going to step away from all of these houses and their turmoil and their trauma.
Yeah.
And you're looking for an Elay. The Elay is right out there.
In nature.
Right out there in nature. Why can't we embrace that?
Or within.
Well, once you do that enough, then you start to come to realize and understand with a little, urging and edging by, people like myself who are like, you are nature. Going back a number of podcasts.
Yes, sir.
How can you argue that? I mean, literally, how can you argue that you're not nature? Okay.
Yeah.
But see, religion versus spirituality versus our connotation of spirituality brings to mind the need for master teachings, brings
Yes.
to mind the need for elder perspectives, brings
Yes.
to mind the need for a researching, a re-civilizing, a re-incorporation of the essence and the beauty and the power of we who are our ancestors. And like I said, I've been named one place in all 256 Odus where somebody who came for divination was called a child, or somebody who's a part of the Egg Bay. Now they might be called, Omo Orisha.
Yeah.
Okay. But not Omo Moremi. You're not the child of your initiator. You're a child of the Orisha.
Facts.
Okay, so if somebody can show me different, fine. But I've been around this for a minute, and I'm telling you that there are very constricting ways about what this whole thing has become. And we can't keep praising our ancestors and telling, our ancestors, and we all into Orisha, and we're still acting like children. We're still thinking like children. We 40 something years old, 50 something years old, 60 something years old. And it's like, well, that's part of the whole church thing. Oh, you're a child of, God, and, the preacher, father this and father that. Okay, fine. And then was, well, Baba, well, doesn't Baba mean father? Well, no, it depends on the intonation.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay, it
Bye-bye.
depends on intonation. Yes.
Bye-bye.
But I lost my point. Just bear with me because I don't want to forget this.
No,
Okay.
go ahead. Yeah,
Right.
because I was, but go ahead. I want you to get to what you were going to do, you know, so we can
Yeah.
share it with
Okay.
you.
I'm good.
I'll pick it up while you look for that. But I was going to share because we have picked up a lot of new subscribers who may have not seen some of our previous podcasts just yet. But I was going to touch on the one that we did, Warriors Part 1, where we talked about how the significance of Eshu and how Eshu ties into us, through our biological makeup, and the significance of Ogun, with like him being the symbolism of iron in regards to iron as for just iron, but also for iron within the blood of within us, how we need iron. Our iron levels have to be sufficient for us to be, optimal at our, with our health, as well as Oshun, with the way that the rivers, flow within nature, is the same way that our blood flows through our veins, which is symbolism, and metaphorically speaking, for Oshun or Obatala, with creativity, for inner vision, understanding, overstanding, outerstanding, serenity, peace. All these things are all attributes or all, biological makeup, physical makeups that we can kind of manifest of Obatala and so on and so forth. But those are one of the things that I feel like that was just a masterful way that you broke that down in that episode. And I just recall. And which one was it with Eshu? Was it I think it was like the nerves, like how the nerves communicate to one another, and the kind of symbolism of Eshu, because Eshu being the god of the
forward and throughout the body.
Yeah.
And the brain cells, the synapses and everything. It's all about communication.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, for that, because it all connects. Now, let's take teaching and learning. Okay. Back and I haven't swayed from your question.
No. You know how we do. Look, we're gonna wait.
All right.
This is family affair, man. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So teaching and learning. Okay. I'm a retired secondary school teacher. Been a professor now for 11 years. People are like, how are you a professor and you don't have this degree and that degree? Well, because, I got it like that.
And you taught at the college level. Look, so humbly enter myself into that too. I think I got about 2-3 years under my belt of speaking at the college level, man. So
you don't need to be but so many degrees to become your own master and your own PhD ish. You know what I mean? But anyway, what I found to be through not only empirical data, but also anecdotal, my experience is that if people don't like you, those students don't like you, they may learn a little something from you, but they're not learning to their capacity. They're not filling their head with what you have to give, because you ain't cool.
That's facts.
You don't connect with them. You don't relate to them. You don't show sincerity. You don't show love. I tell my students in man, yo, man, what's up? I missed you guys. And let me tell you, I love each and every one of you. Now, take out what you need to take out, laptops or whatever, and let's get busy. All right. And they're like, yeah, all right, prof, and then we throw down.
Yes, sir.
But then they talk bad about the professors who come in after me. Like,
hey. You got big shoes to fill, man. Who trying to fill them dang on shoes, man?
Yeah, they don't even know the kids' names, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So the point of saying that, back to sincerity, because my initiators were so sincere, it was clear that they weren't about the money. You know what I mean? I paid what I paid. They wasn't asking for nothing extra. When it came down to do the abos, it was like, you sit with the goats. At one point, I don't know, I've shared it in Ojise, it got to the point where I was literally communicating with the goat. Not the one that was the abo, but some of the goats around, because I was so open. And the goat was literally having a conversation with me. I was the goat whisperer. I
believe it. I
have those kind of things. But I know that if I was beset by, they just ripping me off, or I'm not feeling their heart, I'm not feeling their soul, their prayers aren't moving me, I'm just here getting dotted up, you know what I mean, and get my legacies and pay the money, and there's some joyfulness to the occasion, but I ain't feeling it. Okay. I felt every breath that was taken by the people in that compound. I felt every touch of them with the white and red, the Ephun and the Camwood. I felt every footstep that they made. I felt it, and I felt it deeply. And so I was open to every nuance of every word. And it led me to understand that it wasn't all about, how much of this can you get? It was about, what are you going to do with the purity? What are you going to do with the sincerity? You're going to learn. You're going to learn by observing them. You're going to learn. You're going to learn by, getting a certain frequency to be able to kind of vibe with them. And you're going to become truly an initiate. And it led me to write this prose. It was the night before the actual initiation. Okay. The initiate. I await the morning, the Nigerian rain, the crystal sky, unsettle the darkness of night. Dawn breaks. Roosters shake the sleeping giant. I've journeyed far from where I was born to the temple here in Ejibo, where I'm conceived now in blood and spirit. And I stand at the mountain of worship, having made the pilgrimage to Oke Itashe. I climb steps carved from rock, slipping in my own unsteadiness. I consistently regain my footing and embrace life and purpose. Upon reaching the summit, I entered the edifice and approached the sacred stone. Humbled, I prostrated and released myself to the winds, and I saw myself as a son of Orumila, the prophet. And I saw the Odu Ifa, and I saw the dawning of humanity. And I saw Ife Odaye, the most ancient of cities. I await the evening. Then I will walk steadfast among my people as a high priest, a Babalao. The Nigerian rain, the moonlit sky, drums resound in the distance, chant songs to the Orisha fill the air.
Ashe. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But see, that's what sincerity does.
Yeah.
It opens us up.
Well, real recognize real, Baba. I remember that when I was a child, and I feel like that's why church never resonated with me, because as a young child, I recall maybe, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years old. It just was like, when they sent the collection plate around, it just, in my mind, I was like, why do we have to pay God for blessings? It just, for some reason, I don't know why, but it bothered me. It didn't sit well as a child, So it's like, now flipping the script, I remember growing up as a child, even a teenager in school, if a teacher didn't like resonate with me, I wasn't really tuned in, because it's like, you really don't take your job serious, or you're just here for a check, or you really don't like me. You're just dealing with me because your job is paying your bills and that you have to. So I peeped that, and that, depending on the child, depending on their energy, depending on how they respond to people, or how they respond to adversity, or respond to friction in communication, is how, what they say is normally what you give is what you get. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's something that when I started my career with speaking in schools, like, it was one of the things where I always found time traveling back in time as how those teachers made me feel. I wanted to make sure I did the opposite of that. So when I come in, I'm already scanning the room, reading the room as to like, okay, I'm gonna speak to this student about this, or I'm gonna say this to that student. I might see someone that have some dope Jordans on, some, or I like them J's, like, just kind of to let them know who and what I am in regards to the speaker that's there to present to them whatever that presentation is that day. But I always interact with the crowd, like every single time, no matter what the environment, no matter what, school or age level they are, I always give that ebb and flow, the back and forth with the crowd, because like you said, you create a level of not only the connection, but relatability. But then when you have that relatability and people feel like they can really relate to you, or even just communicate to you without you looking down on them, or talking down on them, or thinking like you better than them, or being snooty, a knowledge snob, like that. What I found, it works miracles for me, because once they realize, okay, this dude cool, like, then I'm sure it's the same exact thing you deal with when you deal with your students. And I feel even like that with social media. Like I've never really been a big huge fan of social media, but I know it's a means to kind of get, you know, the work and the job done. So I had to figure out how to acquiesce in my mind to work with it. But what I have found is, like, people really rock with real people who they rock with. Like, you know, one of my business coaches that I talk to you about all the time, I rock with him because he real. Like, I'm going to pay him to coach me because he a real dude, and there's no fluff and no BS with how he move in regards to doing what he do, but he a beast at doing what he do. And the fact that there's a lot of beasts out there who, you know, can coach you or whatever, but what really got me to spend my coins with him is because how real and relatable he was to me. So I'm like, yeah, I can rock with this dude because he real. And it resonated on a whole nother level for me to be able to vibe with him, to invest in, you know, being coached by him.
So, and let's take that and bring it to Ifa Iseshe. You know, as Babalawos, and remember we shared before, there are different types of Babalawos, not different levels, just different types. You know, but Ifa priest nonetheless.
Yes, sir.
And I just posted on Karade Nation on Facebook various terms that we utilize, as opposed to the condescending terms that we may experience under the syncretism with Catholicism, not syncretism with other African religions, as our people from various regions were meshed together. Okay, because there was syncretism happening there too, prior to enslavement and during enslavement, and now even after. You know what I mean? So all that's good, but taking, you know, what we're speaking of in terms of sincerity, because if there was anything that I took from my experiences on the continent, was the sincerity of my initiators. It was something that I had never felt 7 years prior, you know, going here, going there, you know, trying to stick with people, but then kind of understanding that y'all not real with me. Y'all not here for the re-emergence, the resurrection of African people, you know? And you've taken what you feel as though you needed to take. And one Madrina was like, well, you know, the Spanish people saved African religions and all that. I'm like, no, you didn't. Spanish people didn't save it. It was the African people who saved it via being enslaved by the Spanish. Now, some of y'all, you know, took it upon yourselves to, you know, to get all into it, because, you know, people do that. You know what I mean? But don't be standing up there talking about you saved it, like the Spanish and the Portuguese people saved it. No, most of you were hating it. You did not save it. Our enslaved ancestors found ways to save it via syncretism, found ways to say it via neo-enslavement that's still going on today, found ways to do it. You did not do it. I have, when I was started drumming and going out with it, I had one Puerto Rican brother tell me, well, you know, if it wasn't for the Puerto Ricans, you know, there would be no African drummers and boomers. I'm like, what are you talking about? Come on, man, come on. I know y'all feel with the whole, you know, the world turns and spins around you and everybody else is just there, you know, to bow down to you. But I'm saying, you talking crazy right now. Okay. I'm gonna do, well, you know, there wouldn't have been a Wawanko if it wasn't for, yeah, there was some Spanish influence. I get that. But Wawankos and all of those patterns, I don't really like calling them claves, because clave in Portuguese means slave. Okay. So, you know, the rhythmic patterns that we have, okay, those are all African, boo. Okay, so why are you under this misconception that you saved us? Do you see, it's that same you saved us.
Yeah, and you know what? I think there's two, and it's kind of funny to me, but I wholeheartedly feel like there's two kinds of Spanish people too, because you have the kind who have that, and I feel like those are the ones who might take on the ideologies of European, that European mindset, and that sense of want to be inclusion type of energy. But then you have the ones who know what it is, who know what the real deal is, and they rock, honor, and support and reverence us, in unison with how we respect and honor the ancestors.
Well, let me say, because I've been out there, and yes, few and far between, but I can only name one right now. Santana. Santana, tell anybody in a minute. All these rhythms that I'm playing, all of what I'm doing up here, African ancestry. He went on and married his sister. Okay, so yeah, they're few, but they're far between. And again, I'm speaking more of the whole kind of, how it pours down to Iseshe. Right. There was one Tierros in all of Bahia, supposedly the black capital of Brazil, not Rio de Janeiro, Sao Paulo. There was one, I'll call her Ia as opposed to Madrina. She was trying to bring the Afrocentric back into Candomblé. She was trying to break away from the Catholicism. She was trying to say that it in and of itself is an African statement to the world. They like to kill her. They ostracized her. They turned people against her. They wrote against her. And I know this because I had talks with her face to face. So yeah, there's a few, but they are not the overwhelming. They are not the overwhelming. And I'm not, and if the shoe doesn't fit, then don't wear it. But I'm not going to try to, compromise this feeling, because it's everywhere that I've gone, and we can say the same thing about our own people, who just hate the fact that, we're not Christianized. And then there was wars against the Oyo, the Yoruba. Well, at that time, we weren't Yorubas. That didn't come until the mid 1800s. That, but there were Islamicized Africans who hated the fact that we were not Muslim.
Right. Well, I mean, that's a real thing, though, because like you said, and it's funny because everybody, Baba Smalls last week, he was pulling everybody to the map. Boy, he was going on everybody. But that's true, because there, like I said, and where I was coming from in regards to my statement, the Spanish, is because like in my beginning journeys here, I remember going to Botanicas and like getting things that I needed, different tools and just different items that I needed for my practices and stuff. But I recall in the very beginning going into a few of the stores, the Botanicas, and they were ran by Spanish people. And a couple of them had that real, like real stuck up, snooty, what the hell are you doing in here type energy.
Wow.
And, that, so kind of like everything.
In Florida?
What? Yeah. Yeah. But my thing is, I'm like, listen, look, I'm always throw the disclaimer out there. I ain't saying I'm King Kong. I've never tried to be or want to be, but at the same time, I ain't putting up with I'm not taking that off nobody. Like, so I'm just like, hey, look here, homie. Like, I don't know what you want, but we're gonna kind of turn that down a little bit. I just left because like, I'm not gonna give you money if you're looking at me like I'm less than. But then I did, eventually find a few different ones that were same thing Spanish on that was cool. Like, what I'm saying? So I gotta give credit where credit is due, because they had like melanated, Orishas on the back, on the wall, and one of the brothers was like, yo, he was trying to get me to get initiated with him, because he would have Babalawos coming from Nigeria to work at his Ile and in his store, and would be initiating people the traditional Iseshe way with real, traditional Nigerian Babalawo. So it's like I've seen some of them that that do rock with. Rocking with it the right way, and we got a few that support the channel that I be seeing all the time on our lives.
Rodriguez and
Rodriguez, I think Brother Conso or Bro Conso. I don't know if he's here tonight or not, but it's like, so I've seen it both ways. I've seen, but like you just said, and Small was saying, but it's some of us
Yeah.
don't know how to act with us. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it all the way a buck, you know, because that's just being real. Ain't no need to sugarcoat it.
Yeah, you know, and like the talks over the week, you know what I mean? You know, people calling, things like that, and it's cool. You know,
Right.
sometimes, you know, it's not about, oh, I'm going to divine for you. Sometimes it's just, I'm gonna be here for you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That part.
That sincerity rings through. You know what I mean? It's not, or the clock start ticking because the phone rang. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, sis, you all right? No, I'm calling because I'm going through this, going through that. Well, come on, talk to me. You know what I mean? It's like it has to be where we as the priestly, we you know, we'll find ways to make our money.
Yes.
But we don't have to, you know, twist Ifa into a money making kind of thing, because see, that's what leads to insincerity.
Yep.
I don't care how, I don't care what anybody got to say.
Yeah.
The love of money will lead to you being manipulative and hence insincere.
Yep.
You know, and we're going to put a stop to that. Now, granted, there are exceptions. You know what I mean? Even going to Nigeria, coming back talking about they was ripped off.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing I was gonna say too. When you started talking about how sincere your experience was, that's a whole nother conversation, like within itself. That's a whole nother topic that we probably should address in the future, is about the experience of the initiation process, because there are a lot of people who unfortunately feel like their initiation wasn't as peaceful, it wasn't as divine, it wasn't as, you know, serene as it should have been, because the initiators had some flaw or you know, negative energy, or you know what I mean. Like, hell, I dealt with it and just to be, you know, like keep it a trillion, I dealt with some in Nigeria, man. And Ilobu, I had to holler at Balagoon like, Baba, what's the relationship, like what's y'all, like, how y'all like tied? Because I, you know, bro, like that, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's all about love and respect. Right. And I feel like that's where there's a major disconnect, you know, in all of humanity. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't just Ishe, Ifa, or black, white. No, this is all of humanity. There's a severe lack of respect for one another. And I feel like that's where it creates a lot of turmoil, a lot of friction. And then that's when sometimes things get heated. And then you see like the Alabama boat dock situation where turn up on the dock and make it do what it do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, because you can only push certain people's buttons so far. You know what I'm saying? And so some people are used to being able to push people's buttons all the way and be, you know what I'm saying? But they're used to getting away with it. But then when you run across Raheem and then you poke them, but you even tap that button, right? You know, night, then it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to be real careful on the type of people that you're doing that. You might run up on a Dessalines or a Nat Turner type. And they ain't with all that. So it's like, you know, you got to tread real lightly when you're pushing them buttons, you know. So
so you know, all of what we're saying is, you know, just still kind of connected to, I need to be personally, and I'm saying this to everyone, and I'm going to keep saying it to my last day, that I need to be, if nothing else, a symbol of sincerity.
Sure.
If nothing else, I don't want to be remembered as somebody who could recite all the Odu, or someone who had 5 million followers in a, you know, Lamborghini and all that kind of stuff. If it happens, it happens. But that's not what I'm here for.
Right.
I'm here to bring you what was initiated into me. And that is, everything revolves around the sincerity. Everything revolves around the love that you have for your people. Why are you a priest of a people and you have no love nor sincerity for them? You just in it for business, like a bootleg preacher, as we used to call them. You know what I mean? You just going around selling medicine out of a jar, you know, and getting people to believe that this is something to believe in. But all the while, it's all about the money.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to handle our business, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be at the expense of the people. It's not going to be at the expense of our sincerity. It's not going to be at the expense of our unknowingness. because we'll continue to study. We'll continue to build as institutions. We'll continue to give classes, but it's going to revolve around what we have, not what they have made it into. It has to be that way, because other than that, we just puppets. We just, we just clones, poor ones at that. So that's where I see all of this going.
You got the tribe riled up, boy. They laughing about that. I guess
I keep saying I'm gonna step back, and I ain't stepped back yet.
No. Listen, man. I'm gonna tell you, like I tell all the other elders and OGs. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for all. I want all that. Let's get it. I want it, because look, that just fires me up, man. It motivates me to go harder to figure out what ways I can get y'all on here more to do and say more, because that's what we love, man. That's what the tribe loves. Like,
can we hear from some of the people?
Yeah, and I didn't want to cut you off, but yeah, we actually have a phenomenal. Well, we got one phenomenal question, and then tribe, if anybody had any questions or comments or suggestions or what have you, let us know before we wrap it up and get out, because we're definitely here for it for sure. But yeah, we got one, which I can't wait to hear your answer to this, because it's a very viable question, and I feel like a lot of people might actually probably be thinking this too, but didn't ask it. But Goddess Energy 77 says, how do you avoid being ripped off from those who are not doing good business or not moving with integrity?
First of all, as a grown-up, listen to yourself. You know what I mean? I mean, the whole thing of me attempting to break us free, to give us free, is to follow our own intuition, our gut feelings. That's the first thing you have to do, because I could tell you, oh, well, don't go with those people. Oh, but they okay. And then you get ripped off, and it's like, well, Baba, you told me to watch out, and I felt it, but I went on and did it anyway. You understand? You're old enough to know when something don't feel right. A child can kind of give indications if something don't feel right. So as an adult, so can you. Yeah, and that. But we're under this kind of religious spiritual worm that's on a hook, and we're just like the fish. You know what I mean? And the tastier the worm appears to be, the more we don't see the hook. So we have to start owning up to being grown, and stop being, so much in want of something that we're willing to sacrifice our own warning. We are geared to be self-preservating within ourselves. Listen to that intuition. If it don't feel right, then trust me, baby girl, it probably isn't. Don't do it. Okay, I'd share with my daughter. You know what I mean? Don't
big box.
Don't.
Big box.
If you feel that it's not right, then odds are it's not.
Yeah.
Take a couple of steps back, look at it, maybe talk to some people about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Talk to somebody who you trust. Well, I kind of feel it. It's all right. Yeah, child, I heard about that. You know what I mean? Then you start getting the scoop.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes when I'm even doing business, I'll check a Better Business Bureau. You know what I mean? I'll check what other people are saying.
Listen, I done had to do that. Look, I had to turn up on the dealership one time. In the dealership, I had my laptop with me because I was working, and they went to cutting up. I said, man, because they was playing with me. I said, okay, I got something for you, man. I went right there and filed the doggone the complaint right there in the break room. And I felt bad because they was handling this old lady bad too. I was like, man, I said, I can't do the complaint for you, but I sure could show you how to do it. I said, because you don't have to put up with that either. It was crazy how they were doing the people in there. But I was like, okay. And look, and then after I did that, that's when I got their attention. And so they blowing my phone up, emailing and calling. Hey, you take the review down? Hell no, I ain't taking that review down. The review is the review. If you would have gave me some professional service, that review wouldn't have been up there. Exactly. But since you want to give me that kind of service, then okay, I know I'm not going to argue with you and make myself look ignorant. You know what I'm saying? Like the angry black man. I'm gonna
Yeah,
hit you where I know where it hurt. Let me go ahead and hit these doggone complaints and reviews and put them things out there, and we really get this thing tightened up.
So, Sister Goddess, you know, I hope I didn't come across too strongly. You know what I mean? But
she liked it, Baba.
I need for you to feel that you got some power, and you do have the power to say no, and you do have the power to walk away. And if you don't have any place else to go, check out our Shay. All right?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Because we here for us.
Yes, sir.
You know,
yes, sir.
We here for us. All right. So do a little homework. Follow your intuition. If you see every time you breathe, it costs $400. You know, and every time you walk in the door, we got to do another air bow. You know what I mean? Start to kind of squint your eyes a little bit, like yo, yo, you know, no. Baba Ifa Karade said, if they all in your pocket, then that's where you let them be. And it's like, now I'm zipping up my pocket, you know, I'm closing my purse, I'm out. You know, it should not be all about that. Okay. All right.
Yeah, nah. She said she that's exactly what she wanted to hear. And bro Nansu, I must have spoke you up, brother, because I just was talking about you. I told we see you, family. Appreciate you for joining us.
Who's that, man?
Yeah, we got I will Baba, forgive me if I don't say it right, but in fact, let me just put it up there. He said he loves the topic and the information, but also something else I saw him say too. But I gotta y'all bear with me with these comments. I'm looking at bringing in some help to get these things managed better, so I can kind of focus on the show and have y'all getting your comments in a timely manner. But another thing too, Baba, that I was thinking about in regards to today's whole topic. How does one feel? Because I think the Sister Goddess Energy said that it's best to relate or best to do some research with before you join the ELA. And that's kind of tough because I don't know how much information is out there on ELAs, you know what I mean? It's one of them things that I haven't seen anywhere. But but still do your due diligence and and listen to your intuition. But one of the things I wanted to touch into before we get out of here, Baba, is that I've dealt with people who are new devotees. I've dealt with people who are, avaricious, and I've dealt with, EI and Baba Larishas who still haven't fully embraced their ashe or fully embraced the power of intuition. It's like I tell people all the time, you don't have to be a priest or a priestess or Iyanifa or a Babalawo to be able to activate your child of godness, which means the energy and the ashe that we all have within our intuition, our ori, our first eye, third eye, whichever way you want to call it, the pituitary gland, like the eye of Ra, eye of Heru, like all of these are the gateways and portals to the highest level of elevation and consciousness. We all have access to that. It's universal energy from the universe, from the mother, the grandmother, the universe. So it's like, it's about believing in it, and it's about really being consistent and dedicated with kind of like working it out and like really tapping into it. And meditation, it takes you a long ways. I really feel like the meditation aspects really it heightens and tunes it. It's almost like giving a car a tune-up or putting in like, you know what I mean, some superpower or supercharged like spark plugs, or just adding kind of like different components to strengthen the engine. I feel like that's what meditation does for our auric body and for our spiritual selves in regards to elevating our vibrational frequency. So that's something that really, really, really helps to kind of hone in and sharpen that intuitive, ability by really feeding it and nourishing it and kind of like pouring into it and cultivating it with meditation. And Baba, you can speak to that. Like you've been doing that way longer than me, man, and you're dedicating and focused now as you ever have been.
I mean, up till today, outside, enjoying the weather, got my Tai Chi on, making, because the Ashe has to go through the system within, and that's called Aba, ABA. Okay. And see, we are so out of touch that we can't even see our ancestors meditating. You understand what I'm saying? We can't even, I can see my Egun here in warrior regalia, but still have no concept of how he trained. You know, no concept of the mental practices, much less the physical training that our ancestral armies were comprised of. None. No pictures of, no studies of it, no nothing. We're just put into this little container basically by Europeans, stating that this is what we're going to accept of you. You're going to be entertainers. You're going to be less of a reflection than who you really are. And you may have an opportunity to get a statue like this, but we're not going to reinforce any empowering about it. And that includes Isharo meditation, Asharo to meditate. This is all a part of who we are. And if we're developing that intuition as understood, okay, then mental exercises such as meditation, concentration, focus, trains of thought become absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary. And to say that our people weren't doing it, and we got to look to India, well, who was doing it before the Aryans came down? It was our Dravidian brothers and sisters who migrated across into India and built great civilizations. Great civilizations. So, before the Bhagavad Gita was the Upanishads. And that was held by the folks who look like us, who became the untouchables due to the Brahmans and the Aryan conquest, pushing our people further and further south. Some of them got in boats, traveled the world all the way on those currents you talked about last time. They got caught up in the currents and wound up in South America.
Mm-hmm.
You see, but see, we don't know this kind of thing. We right. Just don't. And will we ever see it on the media and all of that? Not unless we kick the door down.
Look, we're gonna see it here in these Ashke streets.
All right,
we're gonna see it at.
Well, yes, we got a place tonight's War and Resurrection coming.
Listen, we got a lot more than that coming too. Yes, sir. We got yeah, right. We got a place tonight's coming, and listen, it's coming and it's coming strong. Yeah. And we got listen, y'all, and family, let me tell y'all, like from the top and the bottom of my heart, man, I got some very, very, very powerful content that I'm gonna be dropping. I wanted to have the trailer done for today before we went live, but it didn't happen. But the community we're growing is open, and I'm going to flood the private membership with a lot of unreleased footage. That some of it goes back to like 2017, 2018 when I first started podcasting, which a lot of you guys probably didn't know who I was or nothing about me or Ashe or any of that, but it's still very powerful, relevant information. And some of that information, my first couple channels got flagged because it was too raw and too real, to be on Front Street on YouTube. So I had to kind of reevaluate how I do things and come back and do it a different way. So that's why I give thanks for us growing to the point where now we can have the private community, because now I can still give and pour into you all with the information, with the conversations that can't be on Front Street on YouTube, because it will be flagged based upon the truth, the level of truth that's raw, and some people can't take that kind of raw, real truth. However, I have one that will be going up later this week, either Friday or Saturday. I'll share the promo for it, but it's actually one of the founders of the Black Panther Party. I mean, the original founders from day one, day one, original founding fathers of the Panther Party will be coming on the channel very soon. I'll be able to share the trailer, a snippet of the interview, but the whole interview I won't be able to share because I don't want to get the channel flagged to, cause any kind of friction with the platform. However, I still want to get that to you guys. So that's definitely going to be coming in the very near future. So for those who are already in, y'all will be seeing it in the very near future. For those who are interested, you'll be seeing it in the very near future as well. But with that, Baba, where do you feel like we go from here, where we are in regards to everything that we spoke about today, and being able to take, the whole meal that we spoke and prepared for, for the Ashe family, and kind of like season it up and cook it and kind of activate working towards doing some of the things that you've shared with us this evening in regards to being in Ojise? Like, what would you say would be like the first 2 or 3 steps for the family to start on?
Well, you did ask me. I try to tell you people, man, don't come to me with serious questions because I'm gonna let you know. I try to be as light-footed as I can because I I, I work on that. Moving lightly through time and not heavily. But the first thing, is working on dismantling any bridge, any house, Ile, and any notions of being less than. That's the first thing, because again, we're all adults. Take up that mantle and start to self-reflect and determine if you are really where you feel yourself best to be. Because there's even nothing wrong with being nowhere. There's a whole lot of learning that can go on when you just embrace the silence and embrace the solitude and let nature be your Ile. So got to step away from the tornadoes, and find solace in the still waters. That would be the first thing, because other than that, everywhere you go, there you are. And some people was like, well, there ain't no drama here, let me make some. You know what I mean? Because that's what I'm accustomed to. It's like, nah, see, you should have taken off your shoes before you came into sacred ground. So work on self. There's no rush to get anywhere. Okay? Take the time to work on self. Dismantle and rebuild. That's the first thing. Second thing, be okay with having an egg bay, if you will, that is more abstract, for lack of a better word. Something that's more of a mental movement. Those who are of kindred spirit don't always have to be up under each other. There are times when tribal nations would separate, each would go their own way, and on occasions, maybe 4 or 5 times a cycle, an Odunde, all of the tribal nations would meet and celebrate, give homage, reconnect, and all of that. And then they would go back, each would go back and do what they do. Okay? So, it's kind of like, get a grip on what it is that you're doing, but keep the mental egg bag happening. Stick with the classes. So support, okay, the podcast. Stay valid, in terms of where you're coming from with this. Okay, and come to appreciate it. All right. So that's the second thing. And then lastly, for this podcast, okay, read, study up. I'm putting out as much information as I possibly can on Facebook, up to sharing on YouTube, the books on Gumroad,
templeofthemysticpath.com,
oloyekarade.gumroad.com. Okay, there's an Ifa Esoteric Institute website, okay, that I'm founder of. So, as a messenger, as an Ojise, I'm continually putting it out on various platforms so that the accumulation of information and knowledge becomes more so accessible, and is coming from someone who you now are growing, somewhat of a familiarity with. It's like, yeah, he's sincere. Okay. So when I learn, I'm more open, and he's encouraging me to share. He's encouraging me to write. He's encouraging me to be a part of a philosophical and intellectual movement, you know. If free your mind and your head will follow, said the Funkadelic back in the day. You know what I mean? So let's get our heads together. Okay. That would be the pyramid, the 3 points. Okay. And hopefully that resonates.
Shay, I'm sure it did. Bye-bye. I'm definitely sure it did. It resonated within me for sure. And I think as far as what the comments are showing, like most of the tribe is agreeing.
Wonderful.
Yes, sir. But yeah, man. So I want to give thanks to you for coming out today and making this day do what it do. And then and also for the tribe, man. I want to give a shout out to everybody who, like I said, been riding with us from day one, or I don't care if you came in day 21, 41, 91, 101. We definitely appreciate you, for sure. And you guys are all helping us take this thing to the next level. And I definitely been doing a lot of work and reaching out to a lot of new elders, as well as just keeping, the same ones, the same guests that we've already had on the platform. I want to bring them back in and, do it again for another round. But yeah, bye-bye. You though, man, we definitely appreciate you. I can't give thanks enough, for all that you've done for pouring into the community, and just being here and being consistent, but always being willing to give, always willing to share on top of what you've already done, with all the masterful pieces of work that you've created, but also still, not only do you show up and show out, but you can't wait to get here and show up and show out. And that's the part I'm like, yo, I want to be alive at your age first and foremost, but second of all, to have that vitality, that energy, and that ashe and that drive, like that's next level. But yeah, bro, I see you. Yeah, we do have time for a couple more questions, family. If y'all want to throw them in the comments real quick, we get Baba. How much longer you got, Baba? You got a few for a couple more questions? I see a few people said they wanted to ask a question too.
I got forever, brother.
I forgot who I was talking to. My apologies, sir.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's all
yeah.
Time, but
Yeah, I got you.
I'm here, man. I'll be here all night if we need be.
Yeah, man. The work got to get done. One way or another. Got to get done. Let me see what Bro Nasu got for us. He said, "Can an Orisa priest?" Okay, got you. Oh, I think I know the answer to this, but it's a phenomenal question, Bro Nasu. I appreciate you. I hope I'm saying your name right too, brother. But he wants to know. His question is, can I don't know if I can remove that thing or not, but can
an Orisa priest
give the hand of Ifa, or only an Ifa priest?
Technically, only an Ifa priest. Okay. Technically. All right, because we talk about Ifa, and and even traditionally, the only reason why a person was given the one hand of Ifa was basically because they either couldn't afford to go ahead and make the complete initiatory offerings or statements. So you might get the one hand of Ifa in lieu of actually making Ifa, as Babalao or Iyanifa. Okay, so through the syncretism, it loosened up a bit, where it's seemingly a part of the next step. You know what I mean? After you've gotten your legacies and your warriors, okay, now you're gonna get your eco file, but it's all about moving towards the Ite file. So in the Ifa tradition, people don't go through those stages like they go through, based on Lukumi and Santeria. All of that was a merging of our people, not just to keep what we could alive, keep it going. Okay, so a person could go through being in Isheshe and never receive the hand of Ifa. That doesn't make them any more or less. Okay, so, but if that comes up via divination or something like that, if that woman gets the Ikofa, then the next step would be for her to become an Iya Laho, you know what I mean, or Iya Nifa, traditionally speaking. Okay, but nowadays, not so much the case. But it and Orisha, Baba Lurisha or Iya Lurisha, should not be the one to do it unless there's no other way to get it done. Okay, war or devastation or no trusted Babalaos or Iya Nifas, but or under the guidance of a Babalao like over Zoom or whatever, there should be an Ifa priest somewhere in the picture. Okay.
I should.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we got I want to say, I'm assuming Goddess Energy. She's probably a little newer to our tradition, but she has a question that I want to put. And Baba for Karade, I answered your question in the comments, and I'll definitely get with you on that. Regarding the children's book, if you want the paperback or the ebook. But we got another question, Baba, that want to know what's the difference, and I'm assuming she's asking what's the difference between an Orisha priest and an Ifa priest. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that's probably what she's.
Well, ask her. So we don't waste.
Okay. Goddess Energy 77. Were you referring to what's the difference between Ifa priest and Orisha priest, or was it something else that you were referring to? Goddess Energy 77. And then Baba Karade, I got you. I definitely can get that set up for you. I'm still waiting for her to respond back, Baba. But yeah. Oh, and another question while we wait on her. Brother Nkosi wanted to know let me find his question real quick because they be getting mixed up on me. I want to say he was asking where. Okay, I got it. Here we go. He wanted to know where can he find the initiate article posted at.
What I just read. I'm assuming.
I believe so. Yes, sir.
It's in this book, Elder Reflections, Book 1. Okay, and you can find the book on the PDF is on the oloyekarade.gumroad.com.
No, that's not it, Baba. Hold on 1 second. I'm about to put it in there. It's yes, sir. Yeah, I'm putting it up now. 1 second. I'm waiting for it to upload. Okay, there you go, Nkosi. And what I'll do too, family, is I'll put the links in the description when this when we finish airing the actual live stream, and I can go in and do the edits and the revisions of the podcast. I can upload those links for you all as well, for Baba's work as well as my work as well.
Yeah. Okay. So it's in Ojise Nkosi. It's in Ojise, and it's in Elder Reflections Book 1, because I took a little segment out of Ojise and put in the Elder Reflections book. Could you hold up Ojise one more time?
Oh yeah. And that link will be in there too, family. The link to Ojise, the handbook, the Temple of the Mystic Fast. So all of the links to get to Baba's work will be in the links, the show description links. Once the channel is set to go live on the actual podcast channel, as well as I can implement it into the live stream description as well once we wrap it up and everything is finalized in terms of today's show. But yes, Goddess Energy 77 Baba was referring to the difference between the Ifa priest and the Orisha priest.
Okay. I'm gonna get to you in a minute, Goddess. But in Kosi, the handbook and Ojise can you can get those two from Amazon. Okay. Elder Reflections, you can get the PDF from the Temple of the Mystic Path. Okay. Or you can get the book from Amazon. Okay. Thank you, brother. Consul. Okay. Back to Goddess. Goddess. Okay. All right. What is it? Essay gun. Thank you very much. Okay. Goddess. Okay. All right, Michael. All right, cool. Goddess, the Orisha priest, Baba Orisha, okay, the Orisha priestess, El Orisha, they are the sacerdotal order, the priestly order of the Orishas, okay. Over Nigeria, you might find some Eshu priests, maybe even less over here on this hemisphere. But moving from Eshu to Obatala to Yemoja to Ogun to Shango, okay. We have to some of the Ochosi priests, okay. Olokun priestesses, Ochosi priestesses, okay. They're all the Orisha, okay. Now the Ifa priests, they're another sacerdotal order. They're another priestly order, connected but different, okay. So the Ifa priests basically deal with the Babalaos, the Elaos or Eanifas, and there's another set of tools that they use, divinatory implements, like the Babalaos do not use the cowrie shells, for example. And the Baba Orishas and El Orishas don't use the divining chain nor the Iking of the Babalaos, even though both groups may reference the Odu. However, the Orisha priests and priestesses are of the Orisha. When you get initiated into a particular Orisha, say you'll be initiated into Yemoja, you will more than likely have a Yemoja priestess who initiates you into Yemoja. Okay? Now, if you're making Ifa, okay, or again, when you go to get the one hand of Ifa, then an Ifa priest, wherever you hear Ifa, you got to think about Babalaos and Ianifas. Okay. Now, back in my day, there was, tension at times between individuals who, like myself, were strong in Orisha, but also strong in Ifa. So you had people who would say, well, you can't be an Orisha priest and a Babalao. And then people were saying, well, if you're a Babalao, that means you can't be an Orisha priest. But then I got with some elder Nigerians who were like, you could be whatever it comes down for you to be. You understand? So I wound up making Obatala and then Ifa. Same with Baba Orisa Gbemi and a number of other people. So you see, but Orisha folks generally stick with Orisha folks, especially in the Cuban systems and the Latino folks, Orisha people, Ifa people, and if an Orisha come down and say this person needs to see a Babalao, then the Orisha priest or priestesses will hook you up with a Babalao or Iyanifa. And hopefully that answers your question, goddess. Okay.
Sure. Excuse me. I was trying to respond to all the comments because we lighting that thing up. So let me see. We got another one from Queen Liquid Waters. She another one that be showing up and showing out for us. The tribe. It says, have you seen the friction? Have you seen when friction comes when Lukumi Baba won't reveal to a woman that they need Itefa because they don't want to shift to Isheshe, but only how you pronounce it? Atebi?
Yeah, Atebi, a wife of a Babalao.
To be holding a lot of people back as like gatekeeping and being gatekeepers. So there's a lot of that going on. But Baba,
Well,
what you got?
Queen, you did ask, right?
She know what she's doing too. I know she know what she doing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, especially in a patriarchal, system, be it Lukumi or even Catholicism, what I found interesting back in the day. No, well, we can still touch on it. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to, as they say, leave you hanging. But when they dug up some of the cathedrals in Europe, they found a lot of the bones of fetuses. Okay. And they were like, well, where'd all these babies come from? Well, they came from the priests, Catholic priests getting with the nuns. Okay. So it was like, all right. So, in a very patriarchal system, especially when we're dealing with syncretism of Lukumi, that, yeah, Babalaos sometimes on a power trip, and sometimes, men folk are men folk. You know what I mean? And they see someone who may be available or a good partner in all of this, so they may pose the question, But you as a woman have to determine, well, whether you're gonna roll with it or not. But if you don't, and then you feel as though you're being punished for it, then it's time to go. And if you feel as though that house, quote unquote, is holding you back, when you hear that Orumila is calling you, then you try to find some place where you can go. You understand? Do we be free now? You know what I mean? We don't know daggone plantation in a labor camp. You know what I mean? Or some breeding farm. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, if you're feeling that and you don't feel comfortable, then go. You don't have to fight with them. You don't have to prove anything to them. And I'm saying this, I say that as if they was looking right at me. You don't own her.
That part.
You don't own her. And all this fear tactic and whatever you think is going to happen to her. Oh, she got brothers, okay? She got big brothers. So let's just let it go. All right. But yeah, and even amongst African and more African directed, Babalaos and Babas, polygamy is a part of the culture. And I know, ancestrally speaking, we all about the ancestors until something come up we don't want to do. All right. And if there appears to be a working union that's for the benefit of all people involved and for the benefit of Isheshe and Ifa, then that Babalao, just by you being an Apete B, will bestow upon the situation ways for you to exercise that. If you can find that, and if that's, a road that you'd like to take, then fine. You may find someone who will just say, well, I don't really want you like that, but Orumila wants you, so I got you. You know what I mean? Then you become the wife of Orumila, the Apete B. What you don't have to become is somebody that is uncomfortable within the faith. You don't have to become that.
Facts.
You know, and Queen, you know, hopefully, you know, I mean no harm. You know, I just need to share with you that as an adult, you can make it happen.
Yeah, nah.
Queen is like, I'm being too real.
Nah, listen, they it's funny because I don't know who it was, but I saw one of them because I told her she knew what she was doing by asking that question. It's gonna get you riled up. And then somebody else said, they was like, yeah, we know what we be doing. We be asking these questions for a reason.
Well, that's the beautiful part about sitting with an elder. You know what I mean?
Hey, look, you be doing it too. You be doing me like that.
I know. Yeah, because you know,
I'll never forget that first day you did that. I was like, man, why he did that, man? Why did he do that? He knew I was gonna turn up. You were trying to get me turned up.
Keep turning up the knob. Keep turning up the
man. Yes, sir.
But yeah, you know, we gotta get a little fire under us. You know what I mean? We've went from being, you know, slaves to servants, and now we trying to get into the faith, you know, of our ancestors, and we find out that we still serving the same type of mentality. And I'm like, no, get away. And I did what? Oh, turn up the
question again. Look, she said she asking the question that other people won't ask.
Okay. All right. I hear you, Queen.
I be trying to figure out the ones that I know people want to hear the answer to.
Yeah.
You probably won't ask. I always try to do that.
All right. Well, you're doing right. All right. One love, Queen. Got you.
But yeah, family, I definitely appreciate y'all, man. We definitely got in another good one today, and I'll definitely be getting with Baba to see when we can run that thing back. Hopefully we can get in at least one more this week. And then the weekend, we definitely probably gonna make something happen. We're gonna make something happen on the weekend, right? For the community call, Baba.
Sure. I'm here for the people, man. I'm here.
Yes, sir. Okay. That's what's up. So yeah, we're gonna definitely look into making another one happen this week during the week. I'm thinking maybe Wednesday or Thursday, depending on how Baba's schedule lines up. And how we can kind of lock them things in synchronicity. And then we definitely look forward to sometime this weekend as well with the community call, and to get that party started, man, and turn this thing all the way up one to 2025 when we bring about the Institute. So with that, family, I definitely appreciate all the love, the support, the likes, the shares, the comments, the feedbacks. Appreciate y'all showing up and showing out for us on the live streams, because like I told y'all, it's difficult to like pinpoint them out days and weeks in advance. However, whenever I can lock it in with either Baba or any of the other Babas or EIs, and I do my best to lock it in and give y'all at least a day's notice. But shoot, sometimes y'all might just log on and see us streaming. And for those who are here with us and those who will watch the replay, please turn on all notifications, so that way when we do, you know, post in the community tab, or we do have live streams coming, that you guys will see it immediately. So that way, you know, you can tap in with us on the live streams, as well as get the updates when I'm able to get ample time to post, you know, ahead of time, letting you guys know when we're going to be doing it. But yeah, man, I definitely appreciate all the love, the support, and yeah, we definitely look forward to doing it again. And bye-bye. We got let me see, somebody said something in there that was funny.
What about the tears? Got somebody in the
yeah, my bad. I'm glad you said that, Baba. Shout out to Nkosi. Matter of fact, he on screen right now, man. We appreciate you. He's the first VIP tier member of the community.
What's
so
that all about? What's that all about?
Listen, look, my boy said he getting the insight to the Institute. He ain't playing out here. He said, listen. He said he ain't playing out here. He said he want all the smoke, man. He ready to get all the way Ifa Iseshe down with the Institute, Baba. So yes, sir. We're gonna make it do what it do.
Yeah, but how do people go about that? And how did he go about it?
Probably clicking the link at the top of the channel page. You can click the link, and there's 3 tiers there. The $4.99 tier is the community, you know, tier, and then the $9.99. Y'all forgive me because I don't have it laid out in my mind by heart, but there are 3 different tiers, from $4.99 to $99 to I think $24.99. But those of you who join the VIP tier, not only will you get access from all the perks from the first 2, but also you'll be with us as we get ready to go into the Institute into 2025. We didn't want to start it before 2025 because of all the holidays and all the things that's coming up. So we didn't want to get started and then have all the breaks where I don't know. I don't celebrate holidays besides birthdays, but you know, I don't judge those who do. So I know some people still want to spend time, you know, with their family during the holidays. So we decided to just do the you know, kind of like the prerequisites in regards to what we'll be sharing in Institute. But we're gonna get it started with the VIP members that are part of the channel, and you know, you'll have access to the Institute as well once we get it going. So that's what we're doing with that. And yes, sir, we will definitely keep bringing the heat. I appreciate you and Kosi with the Echo Doom for the Orisa birthday. I tell you what, 3 years ago, I never would have thought I'd be sitting here doing this. How we doing it, Baba? I wouldn't have thought that. My godmother did predict it. She told me it was gonna happen, but I wouldn't. I believed it, but I didn't know it would happen this fast. So y'all have no idea how much of a dream come true this is, to be living your dream, you know, and doing what you want to do and doing it for the right reason, for the right cause, for the right people. So that there's nothing that means more to me than having the opportunity to do that. So with that, family, I truly appreciate y'all, like for real. Like this ain't no fluff, no BS, a cap, none of that. This is true from the heart. Truly appreciate y'all, you know, spending my Orisa birthday with y'all. Like this is it's an honor, you know, it's an honor and a pleasure. And I feel like this is what I did it for. This is what I feel like I was blessed to hear the call, you know, to come through, to answer, to, you know, to do, you know, the work. And that's what I stand for, the work. So I appreciate y'all for real.
Well, and since we're recording and all that, as the Ojise, okay, I'm bestowing that title upon you as well. As someone who's been to the continent, who's being a messenger, not becoming one, but being a messenger, and as kindred, you know, all of what I was talking about, you know, moving in spirit to make it happen. I am sharing that you are the second Ojise. So
I say, Mudukwe Baba, I appreciate that. That's yeah. You talk about a birthday. That's powerful. I appreciate it.
right.
I truly do. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am, Queen. I see you. I appreciate you, man. Shout out to Queen for joining us on the member as well, man. We definitely appreciate the love and support, family. And trust me when I tell y'all, we're gonna turn that thing up. We already turned it up here anyway. So listen, this ain't no hard sell for nobody. I'm not a salesman. I'm a hustler. Like I love to work, but I do, you know, appreciate it. And I just know we can go a lot of different places in there that we can't go on here. So boy, we definitely gonna get it in. We're going what that little Weezy song is, I'm going in and I'm going hard. That's what we about to do. We're going in, we're going hard.
and I'm always going to have something for us.
Always.
Endless. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Eternally, you know.
Yes, sir.
Always going to be something that I'm going to burn down and build up. And you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
With these few good years I have left, my people, you know what I mean?
Nah,
you have my heart and my soul.
Quite a few. Yes, sir. That's what's up. Yeah, man. Well, yeah, it's been real. It seems like it's getting better and better every time we do it, you know, and I'm loving it. And the tribe's loving it. So yeah, it's reciprocity, you know. So family, I appreciate y'all. Baba Karade in the comments. I think I sent you the message. I'll have to send you I have to connect with you to send you the book because I self-published it. And I'm also finishing up my website to merge into the channel as well. So I'll have all my products and services will be on the channel in the very near future. So that way, you know, people that want to support, it'll be right there as well. But I definitely appreciate you wanting to get it. I think it's Star Seeds or Young Kings for your grandchild. I appreciate that.
Right. Young Kings.
Yes, sir. Listen. Look, I gotta get with Queen. Yeah, we'll get together with that too, Queen, with the Young Kings for your Young King as well. So I look forward to it, family. And Baba Tolu and I have something we should be doing sometime this week as well, because he wants to come on and talk about the position of the Jagun Shango USA in regards to the office. So we're going to break that down because a lot of it I feel like is very relevant to our young kings and to our young queens as well. So we definitely got a lot of work that we're doing, family, and I look forward to, you know, bringing it all to manifestation and fruition for everybody. So with that, you know, we give praise, we give thanks to the great God of heaven, Odamare, our powerful mighty ancestors, the Orisha, all the Arumale, all the Egbe. We give thanks, you know, for all the love and support, man. I'm telling you, like me and Baba love this, and I feel like every person who's been on here, we all love it. Like, and I give thanks to all of our prior guests, all of our EIs, Babas, you know, everybody who's come through the show love and share love and light. It truly means everything to me because, you know, we don't pay people to come on here. People, they come because they see what we're doing and they believe in it, and they believe in the cause, they believe in the purpose, they believe in the passion, they believe in the vision, and they believe that, you know, we're going to make it do what it do, and we're going to make it happen. So, and I appreciate it, and I truly do. So I really wanted to share that with y'all. And, you know, you could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all here in these Ashe streets with us, man. So we give thanks. So love, peace, love. No, let me say that right. Peace, blessings, love, light, and E-Ray to every single one of y'all. We appreciate y'all. So be it. It is done. Ashe. Modukwe.
Aseoo.
Right, yes, sir. We'll see y'all later this week, family. Odabo. Appreciate all the love and support for everybody who signed up and showed love today, too, man. We appreciate y'all. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another live stream episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I am your host, Orisa Gbemi. Shout out to the Oba Oloye Baba Ifa Karade, our distinguished community elder, for making it do what it do, coming out here getting dangerous in these Ashe streets as he always does. The equalizer.
Come here to play. All right, you know what I mean.
AKA Mufasa.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right, family. It's been real, man. We can't wait to see y'all on the next. We out. Don't forget to please like, share, and subscribe. We are out of here. Odabo.
Ẹni tó gbàgbé ilé ṣàpò ìyàgbọ́ tẹ́ǹtì ẹni takísà ní tàtàn ò bá padà sílé anítìjàkọ ẹja lọ pé eégún mo ṣe ní gbẹ́rẹ́ ìpàkọ́. Forsake not your ancestors and praise your.
I don't know where we pulling it from, but man, it keeps